to have two Canadians in a final and to be next to each other. It's such a beautiful thing for us because we've been teammates for so long. I think Taylor and I are actually the only two on the team from 2016 Olympics, so I think that's pretty special, and just to see our journey over the last number of years and to still be here competing on this stage. Like, I couldn't be more proud of Tay, and I'm really happy that we could share that next to each other.
Well, those girls from Rio 2016 still competing on that stage while I've been nicely seated in this chair for about 10 years. Day 3 finals, Brittany, MacLean, Campbell, of course, joined by Devin, Heroux. Devin, we're always having fun poolside. There's so much to cover again tonight. Some great performances, some challenging performances. We're going to start with that race, the women's 100 backstroke. Break down what they said to you in that not the ready room. We're in the ready room right now. Break down what they said to you in the mix zone, Dev.
Yeah, hi, Britt. It's good to see you. And yes, of course, way back, 2016. It feels like a lifetime ago and probably like yesterday for you. So nice to see Kylie Masse and Taylor Ruck competing in this 100-meter backstroke final here tonight. It was actually really beautiful. Taylor Ruck had been announced to the crowd, was getting ready ahead of the race, and then Kylie was announced to the crowd, and she sort of walked by Taylor and gave her a little tap, and they smiled at each other. So it's always special. I would imagine you would know more than I would what it's like to race with a fellow Canadian in a final at a world championship, and that's exactly where they found themselves. Of course, Kylie Masse just missing the podium in 4th place, Taylor Ruck in 7th place. A good fight, a great race, and then after the race, they came right where I am, and we had a conversation. Here's what they told me. Taylor, side by side with Kylie, what was that like?
It was so awesome. I mean, having another Canadian, especially Kai, it's like, it makes it so much fun. So yeah, super happy.
Kylie, you're always right in the thick of it. Take us through this final.
Yeah, you know, I've been racing these girls for the last number of years, and it's always like they always bring out the best in me because I know they're going to put together an incredible race every single time. Doesn't matter if it's prelims, semis, or finals. So I just tried to show up tonight with the best version of myself and put my best foot forward and just see what I could do.
Well, Dev, adding some context there, we speak about how they competed at Rio 2016. They were both medalists at Rio 2016. So it's not like, you know, they were just coming in as participators. They have been on the podium consistently over the last decade in the pool. It's been amazing to follow the careers of both of those legends. I think we often wish for podium moments for Masse because we're so used to seeing her up there. But I do want to remind everyone back home, the top 3 performers in history, top 4 performers in history were all in that final tonight, and 3 of them ended up on the podium. Unfortunately, 1 was left off, and it was Canadian Kylie Masse, but she was right there in the mix of it. Burkhoff, the bronze medalist from last year's Olympic Games, and of course, the duo of Regan Smith and Kaylee McEwen, who have taken that title back and forth. Together, they own the top 10 fastest times in history, and that time for Kaylee McEwen tonight was the 2nd fastest ever, only 3 100ths off the world record time. So this was no joke when it comes to high-level competition, and it was a really strong performance for Masse. She should be incredibly proud. Speaking of incredibly proud, there was a really great highlight for the American team tonight, and Katie Ledecky. I am not shy to say over and over again how impressed I am of Katie Ledecky tonight at the 800-meter split of a women's 1,500 free. Devin, she flipped in a time of 8:09, and only Summer McIntosh and Katie Ledecky individually in the 800 free have been that fast, and Katie did it on the way out to her 1,500 free. She was on her world record pace at about halfway. She started to drop off a little bit throughout the race, but all in all, Katie Ledecky looks like definitely one of those American racers that's in good form, which sets us up really nicely for this duel in the coming days with Summer McIntosh. I know you had a chance to speak with Katie. I was just wondering from your kind of mindset, how you approach that conversation, knowing it might be a little sensitive. I know sometimes you have a really great job and other times you might have a bit of a challenging job. How do you approach a conversation with Katie, and what did she leave you with?
Well, Katie and I are tight now, Britt. It goes back to Paris, and of course, she is always so gracious. She is such a champion in the pool and out of the pool. Like, you want to talk about the best ambassador for this sport, just look at Katie Ledecky, and this is her 6th consecutive 1,500-meter freestyle title. She just keeps getting the job done, and it was her 5th fastest time ever in this event. But you're right, Britt. You know, as journalists, we stand here. I have a front row seat to all of it, and then you go, okay, I'm going to talk to Katie. How am I going to frame a question about this showdown in the 100-meter? But I also want to talk about the fact that she won another world title, and she continues to do this. So I thought about it, and, well, let's watch what I came up with. If somebody would have told you back then that you'd do this 6 consecutive times, what would you have said?
Oh, you're crazy. I mean, I never imagined the career that I would have back at my first Olympics, my first Worlds, and I've just taken it 1 year at a time, and really it feels like yesterday in some ways that I was in Barcelona at Worlds in 2013. So just taking it day by day, soaking it all in, because, you know, I know that there's a limited number of these that I have left.
Last quick one, the big marquee one everybody's talking about. How forward-looking are you to that 800-meter showdown?
Well, next I'm taking my day off tomorrow, and then I've got the relay and the 800, so yeah, just one day at a time, but I'm looking forward to all my races coming up. Of course, Summer's having a fabulous meet. I know she has a lot between now and then as well, so I think everyone at this meet takes it day by day, and of course I'm looking forward to all the races I have left.
Thanks, Katie. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Dev, I think you crushed it, by the way. But what a champion she is. You talk about how much of an ambassador for the sport she is. I just want to say she, of course, had to speak to her country, NBC, but she was speaking to Australian media. She took the time for Canadian media. I'm sure she spoke to others as well. She did her post-race interview. And she has a ton more racing to come. So I just want to say how much I appreciate the vulnerability of Katie, the leadership she has shown, and the incredible energy she brings to the pool deck, because that's the type of athlete that everyone's going to continue to look up to. I know for me, almost 10 years retired, I'm still looking up to Katie Ledecky. She is unbelievable, and it sets us up really nicely knowing she's in tip-top form. Speaking of tip-top form, quick shout-out to Simona Quadrella, who won the silver medal there, dropped 9 seconds off her personal best, is now the 2nd fastest performer in history. But with that, Devin, I don't know if you've had any conversations. We still haven't seen any world records stirred up in this pool. Has anyone chatted about it? We hate the slow pool jargon around here, but I just thought I'd touch base with you from the ground. Any word on that topic?
Well, there are some former swimmers on the media row with me here, including Australian Kate Campbell, and her and I were having a conversation going into tonight's final about the fact that, yeah, Britt, there has not been a world record broken to this point, and now we're through 3 complete days at the World Championships. A reminder, of course, in Paris, I think it took to the 7th day that there was a world record set. And I know from listening to you and learning from you over the years, it's a different beast when you get to the Olympics and the World Championships. In a lot of cases, it's about getting to the wall first. There are so many different situations, so many different circumstances and distractions on these big stages. I am hearing a bit of conversation about this sort of compact, confined space, a training pool just sort of off to the side here. Very, very compact, very, very hot. So you don't know how that's affecting the swimmers. I know the past couple of days, some of the sessions have fallen behind. I think Summer got in the pool about 13 or 14 minutes late from when she was scheduled for the 200-meter individual medley. So we're seeing some things not going completely smooth. That's always going to happen at a swimming meet, Britt. But in those domestic meets, at a trials, it's cushy sometimes, right? It's best case scenarios. Throw that out the window. It's hot outside. Even if you're spending a few minutes outside, you get lethargic. Yeah. I'm not lethargic, but that could happen for some of the other people.
Energy is high up here. We are rolling.
Energy is high. But all of that to say, no world records, and it's something obviously we are going to track, but everything is different. Time change, all of that. So that is the story on the world record watch here.
Dev, it's great context, so thank you for giving all of that. I totally agree. I think there's so many other layers when it comes to a major championship, so we have to continue to follow those as the days move on, but we are not even halfway through these championships. One of the key stories tonight was a little bit of a disappointing one in the women's 200 freestyle. Luckily, we had 2 Canadians to watch, which is always great, but it didn't necessarily go their way tonight. I know you had a chance to talk to Mary-Sophie. It sounds like she's battling with something after winning the bronze medal last night in the women's 200 IM, so I wondered if you can tell us a bit more about what you heard from her.
Well, yeah, I think we were expecting to see something really fast here tonight. Of course, Mary-Sophie Harvey, 24 hours later after that bronze medal, she was in the 200-meter freestyle semifinal, and she just couldn't get into the race. And I'm watching it, and we know that Mary-Sophie likes to wait into the last half of the race to really turn it on, but that just didn't happen. 7th in her semifinal, and when she came over here, she had a lot to say. She told me that she has a shoulder injury, Britt, and that it only affects her in the freestyle. So I'm also hearing that a doctor was looking at her. She said she wasn't even going to race tonight, Britt. So, I think for Mary-Sophie Harvey, it was sort of like, I'm just going to get in the pool. I'm going to see what happens. But obviously that's disappointing for her. And Britt, it is something we're going to have to pay attention to for that 200-meter freestyle relay, because I think you and I would agree that it was likely she was going to play a key role in that relay, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The relays are going to be a constant question mark throughout the meet as the Canadian team. The loss of Penny Alexiak, the kind of busy schedule of Summer McIntosh, the injured now Mary-Sophie Harvey, the lack of a Maggie McNeil or Rebecca Smith or a bit of a veteran energy there as well. There's a lot to kind of take in to decide what is going to be the best strategy there. Before we do kind of dissect that, let's quickly hear from what Mary-Sophie had to say with you in the mix zone.
Yesterday was a dream, and obviously it doesn't stop after 2 days. I have 3 more events. Well, now 2. Felt good this morning, and then as soon as I was done racing, started to have some pain in my shoulder. So it was a big question mark on if I was going to swim tonight or not. And yeah, we talked to the girl that was alternate, and we're like, maybe you're going to swim, maybe not. I still wanted to give it a go to see if I would be fine. Clearly not. But I have a day to recover tomorrow and hopefully get that sorted as quickly as possible and then get ready for my 2 other events.
That is my final question. How serious is it, Mary-Sophie?
I've had issues with my shoulder in the past. Nothing new. It is quite annoying to get this right now, consider that the meet started off so well, but it's part of the game, it's part of the sport. And the good thing is, the pain, I only feel it in freestyle, so the 2 breaths in 2 days should be fine. But we'll see for the rest, but right now I think it's just try to get it fixed as quickly as possible.
Well, from a girl with a lot of shoulder problems, I'm wishing Mary-Sophie nothing but the best. I know that feeling, and I do love to hear, though, that perspective shift where she says it actually hurts the most in freestyle. So I have the breaststroke coming up, and she can start to focus potentially on resetting and seeing if she's up for the 400 IM, but wishing her a speedy recovery. A special shout out to Ella Jansen, who qualified for her first international world semi-final, got to get the swim under the big lights. All of these experiences are really important. I saw her introduced, and Ella's still only 19. Devin, for some reason, I feel like similar to Summer, we've been talking about it for so long. I'm like, oh my gosh, Ella's still a teenager. It's kind of crazy. But congrats to Ella. It was a fun opportunity to watch her swim. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow, though. There's going to be more action. Speaking of, McIntosh is back in the pool. We have Ilya Kharun in his final of the 200 fly. I know you got to speak with him after the race. It seems like maybe he saved a little bit for the final. What do you think?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I've had a lot of conversations with Ilya, and I really never know what I'm going to get or what he's up to. And he walked over here after his 200-meter semifinal, and he said, yeah, I just wanted to touch the wall and make it into the final, and I'm saving for the final. So watch out. Here he is getting ready for his race tonight. Britt, he was so crushed after not advancing to that 50-meter butterfly final. He actually told me in our interview tonight after the semi that he actually wanted to cry. So he was that emotional. He was that affected by it. But, of course, he finishes second in his semifinal. And who knows what's going to happen with the 19-year-old Canadian in the final, the 200-meter butterfly final. But, Britt, I'm expecting some fireworks from Ilya.
Yeah, you're totally right with that. We never really know what to expect, but that's what makes it so fun to watch him. He's a bronze medalist from last year's Olympic Games, so we've got to assume that he's going to be fighting for another podium spot tomorrow. That'll be happening nighttime for you, as we saw early-ish tomorrow morning for us. I know our fans by now are waking up early. They're ready. They're used to this. We'll call it a time change, but they're used to this time change. They're used to readjusting their days around swimming. Ilya will be happening. His race will be happening a little bit before 8 a.m. And I spoke about you speak about the strategy of his race, but man, oh man, on that final 5 meters, really, he went from fourth to second. And I was like, thank goodness, because when you're fourth in a semifinal, nothing is guaranteed. So Ilya is comfortably through to the final tomorrow night. We'll be watching that with close intent. That will be Canada's likely medal shot tomorrow. But Summer McIntosh, as I said, will be back in the pool in the 200 butterfly. Quickly, Devin, this is one of the events that we had teed up. We're really excited about going into this meet. This is one of her favorite events to swim. Maybe an event she might be able to give a run at that world record time. Just for our fans at home, though, tomorrow is just the prelim and the semi, and then she will likely have the final coming up on that next night. But quickly, how excited are you for that women's 200 fly?
Well, first of all, you know what the best part of the show tonight is the fact that we don't have to open up the envelopes and have the
and be wrong again.
Completely wrong again. Yeah, listen, anytime Summer's in the pool, it's electrifying here. It's exciting here. Everybody, there's a different energy, right? Like this is where we are at with Summer McIntosh. You know what? I wanted to make sure that I mentioned Ethan Eck, who is having a spectacular meet, Britt. He crushed his personal best time in the 800-meter freestyle this morning by 8 seconds. Obviously, he dropped about 3.5 seconds off his 400-meter freestyle. This is a young guy that is just embracing this World Championship experience. And I should also point out that Oliver Dawson in the 50-meter breaststroke, also a personal best time for Canada. So these are two young men who are stepping up on this big stage. We're always looking for those men in this Canadian swimming program. Who's coming? Who's next? Well, right now, Oliver Dawson and Ethan Eck are making a good case for them being the next ones to watch, Britt.
I love it, Dev. And yeah, we're not just talking about best times and doing it at your first major long course world championships, but we're talking about massive drops. And Ethan Eck, like you said, what a phenomenal heat win for him in the prelims of the 800 free. Unfortunately, just shy of getting to the final, but this is his way of inching his way up and potentially sharpening up for that 200 backstroke still to come in the program. Speaking of still to come in the program, if you like what you saw from Kylie Masse today, she's back in action in the women's 50 backstroke, and Ingrid Wilm will be joining her. We love watching that backstroke duo. Both of them have been on the World Championship podium in the 50 back over the years, so Kylie will contest for another shot to add to her very illustrious collection of international medals. And last but not least, Finley Knox is back in action, and he will be swimming his premier event, the 200 IM, the Doha 2024 World Champ. So many things still to come. We're only 3 days down, 5 to go. Devin, we appreciate your time as always, and let's have some fun tomorrow.
Awesome.